Artisan roots, Seuss Caramel has redefined the art of caramel making. Slow crafted, all natural, and preservative free with uncompromising standards. Cooked gently in small batches to create velvety textures and layers of flavor like no other caramel you've ever experienced. It is our sincere hope that you enjoy each Seuss caramel as much as we enjoy making it for you. I'm Tammy Fahey, and I never tire of hearing how much people enjoy my caramels. Please visit SeussCaramel.com to place your order and to see a listing of stores that carry our amazing caramels.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Hello and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages as we celebrate everyday people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on what we love to do, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, from kindness to healthy habits and simple happiness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you are inspired by today's show. And today I want to talk about a passage that my guides have mentioned several times. The meek shall inherit the earth. What do you think that means? Well, my guides have said many times that the meek shall inherit the earth is still the projected outcome for our world. So realize meek does not mean weak, fragile, ignorant, or indifferent. Nor does it mean blind sheep being led by the masses of destruction and allowing our minds to be controlled by external influence. Meek are those who are heart-centered, who wish only good for others. Those who cannot conceive of controlling another or putting another person down with their words or attitude of superiority, unless provoked. The arrogance displayed by those who feel so superior is becoming more obviously blatant in this time of crisis. People who deem themselves proud to step up and shout others down with their words of domination and self-righteousness is becoming so brazen in the media, by supposed friends on social channels, and even in person. I am right, you are wrong. I am smart, you are stupid. These are the ones who feel a need to prove themselves and serve to elevate their position by belittling others. These self-centered people are the ones who yell the loudest with voices that spew anger, hatred, and lies. Truly, they are lost souls who are stuck in the pain of third-dimensional reality and can only be shifted by their own will. These are the people who will suffer the most when truth is revealed, which they may never see or acknowledge. On the other hand, the meek are the silent majority who hold truth in their minds and hope in their hearts. Most have been browbeaten into silence by loud, dominating oppressors. Many carry the pain of anger in our hearts for the wrongdoings of others. We may have been raised to believe that we do not have a voice. Speak when spoken to, or else. We're experiencing this in the censoring in what's going on with social channels right now. And we must find ways to release our anger constructively, share our truth, and speak up for ourselves so we can invite peace individually and collectively. You are listening to Inspiring Hope by Lois Herman. at WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM. And the meek are often very empathic people who sense and feel more of what is going on around them. They may appear to be passive, as they have no wish to engage in the physical, verbal, or written battles with ones who are so obviously self-serving, maligned, and misguided, unless they're provoked. Often these wise spiritual people have a strong inner sense of knowing of right and wrong. They may not be highly visible to the many, however, can be recognized by their unwavering sense of certainty, celebrating peace in the light of truth. These peacemakers come from all walks of life across a variety of religious and non-religious backgrounds. We're coming together in unity for the highest and best for humanity. We come from a place of integrity, honesty, and truth, with a need to do what is right for our community and the world. Many of the meek are very well informed as to the real battle that is raging for the rights of humanity, and are concerned about the dark side that has controlled our world for generations. To these truth seekers we say, hold on to your truth, your faith, your knowing. The light is winning. Actually, it has already won. We must be patient and allow the process of unveiling to reveal the truth for all to see. We must patiently shine the light of hope, strong and bright, for those who are fighting for our rights to truth, freedom, and liberty. Just like our ancestors did in prior physical wars, in this intellectual-based cyber war, we must support those who are courageous enough to engage in battle for our right to freedom. Through the power of prayer, let us send light to those who are fighting on the front lines for our society and our world. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM. For those in the shadow of darkness who have been led like lambs to the slaughter, turn off the TV. Do something that gives you joy and lifts you from the fear thoughts you've been programmed to believe. Fear leads to depression, to sickness, to pain and suffering. It can only be alleviated by your own choosing. Choose again. We all make mistakes, and when we humble ourselves to acknowledge our wrongdoing, through the power of forgiveness, we have the ability to choose again. You are being given the opportunity to wake up. Understand there are many elevated souls who are here to help you regain your footing in this new awakening, this new awareness. There are light workers who have walked through the agony of darkness and risen above the pain for themselves. They are now poised and ready to help others on this journey towards self-love, which leads to unity for all of humanity. The information shared by the Wise Guides in the Chronicles of Hope series provides important guidelines to bring peace to our hearts and minds. Humanity needs only a critical mass of people to really wake up and make a difference, especially now, more than ever. Spiritual empowerment or enlightenment can never be forced on others. You will only wake up when your soul is ready. If you are ready to explore your role more deeply, and if you wish to be a catalyst for positive change, there are those who can help you to shift your energy to be more positive. We invite others of like mind to join our Inspiring Hope community discussions at the chroniclesofhope.net website. We gather via Zoom on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month to support each other. Our mission is to shift humanity's energy to be more positive, one person, one community, one country at a time. We thank you for joining with us to spread the word of peace for our precious world. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. So many people are struggling with suffering, which leads to chronic pain at this time of great uncertainty. Did you know that you can heal yourself from pain by learning to love yourself? As you delve into the drivers behind your basic life needs, you have the ability to dramatically change the path you are on. I am delighted today to introduce a gifted holistic nurse, an integrative rehabilitation and pain practitioner. Tina Michaud-Gray is a registered nurse, licensed massage therapist, strategic intervention life coach, and the developer of the Rapid Recovery System. Her work has taken her all over the country as a trailblazer in pain relief, recovery, healing, and chronic illness. Please help me welcome Tina to our show today. Welcome, Tina. How are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning. So, how are you this wonderful morning?
I am doing amazingly well. Thank you. How are you?
I am well also. Had a great dinner with my family yesterday. Small, just my immediate family, and it was lovely. My husband probably fixed the best turkey I've ever eaten.
Perfect.
It was perfect. What about you? How was your Thanksgiving Day?
I had a very small Thanksgiving as well, and it was nice and quiet and peaceful, and it was lovely.
Wonderful. So, Tina, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you managed to get into what you do?
So I started as a massage therapist after I was in a car accident when I was 18. I was in a head-on collision and was in bed for a good part of 2 years.
Wow.
And needed to figure out what my life was going to look like. And started working with some holistic practitioners, or chiropractors, massage therapists, craniosacral work, and it impacted my recovery in such a big way that I decided that I would become a massage therapist. I was very blessed to go to the school that I did because the teachers were able to work on me between classes. During every break, they would work on me because they found it was very difficult to sit up for long periods of time. And so from there, I after becoming a massage therapist, I ran into Dr. Jim Oshman at a copying center. And Dr. Oshman is one of the leading experts on energy medicine. And he allowed me to be, he afforded me the opportunity to be able to study with some of the best integrated medicine doctors and to start working with technology. And at that point, I needed a different, I needed a degree to be able to work with, legally to work with the technology. So I became a nurse. And that really changed everything. I was working with chronic pain patients and bringing the nursing piece in and looking at how pharmaceuticals create pain, encourage more pain, the addictive process. I knew that I needed to get more technology to help people and to understand chronic pain more. I started researching chronic pain and started writing a book and found that chronic pain starts within 8 to 10 days after injury or surgery with a process called long-term potentiation. And this is where the brain starts to create neural pathways to create a pain memory. So once you've created a pain memory and you're practicing pain every day, so that memory is seated in the habit-forming area of our brain. And so if you practice pain every day, then you become really good at it. It's like playing the piano. If you play the piano every day for several hours a day, you become really good at it. And so I think it's important for people to understand how that starts. And that's why creating my rapid recovery program after injury and surgery was so important, because I work with people for the first 7 to 10 days after injury or surgery, so that we can prevent the possibility of chronic pain, but also prevent the possibility of addiction, because opioid addiction starts around day 5 after you're taking them. So these are really important deadlines that people need to look at, and that's why we have so much chronic pain. And so when you look at chronic pain, you have to look at it from so many dimensions. And so after becoming, being a massage therapist, becoming a nurse, becoming a strategic intervention life coach was very important, because that taught me about the 6 human needs and why people do what they do. Chronic pain fulfills a lot of the ego's needs. So that became very important to be able to look at and understand in people. And then becoming a chaplain with Unity Church as well, because chronic pain is about your spirituality too. It's how are you fed spiritually? How's your soul fed?
And you're just dropping all kinds of amazing information. Can I interrupt you with a question?
Sure.
So I have 2 questions. First, excuse me, you're talking about chronic pain and the concept of the 6 human needs. Can you go into those a little bit more? I've heard of these and I work with them too, but I'd love for you to expand on the human needs, the ego needs and the spiritual needs, and how they play with this whole chronic pain. Could you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes. So the 6 human needs are certainty. We all need some security in our life. We need a little uncertainty. That is, we need a little bit of surprise in our life. Sometimes we don't like the surprises that come. We want balloons and flowers and presents, and sometimes it's waking up and the furnace is dead or something like that. So but we all need a little uncertainty. Otherwise, we would be bored. Mm-hmm. And we all need to feel significant and special. We need love and connection. And so those are the four ego needs. And then the soul's needs are contribution and education, expansion. Mm-hmm. So with chronic pain, usually we're getting the first 4 ego needs met. So when somebody wakes up in chronic pain, they're pretty certain when they wake up in the morning that they know what their day is going to be like. It's going to be, there's going to be certain pains. They're going to have to take medication. They may not be able to do certain things. So there's a good amount of certainty that comes with chronic pain.
And you were talking about the neural pathways. What we focus on, we create. So if the neural pathway is focused on, I'm going to have pain, then the expectation is, I'm going to have pain. And then the body, the mind, the spirit says, okay, then have some pain. So it is all about, it is a mind, body, spirit connection where that neural pathway, we've gone down that chronic pain. And I've known and had people in my family that have had chronic pain, and I've observed it. I myself have had different bouts with pain, which is how I got to meet you. But it is fascinating how that connection is there. If what we expect, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, we will manifest. So that's what you're talking about, the neuropathways with chronic pain, correct?
Right. And so then there's some uncertainty. You don't know how bad, as a patient, with chronic pain, you don't know how bad it's going to be that day. So you might get some little surprises here and there. Mm-hmm. It may not be so bad. Something new might trigger it. And so there's a little bit of uncertainty that goes along with chronic pain. Mm-hmm. Significance is huge with chronic pain, because how unique am I that I have to take all these meds. I have to, I can't do a lot of things. And, people pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. So, you get to feel really significant. And one thing to know with all of these needs, we get them met unconsciously from a positive perspective or a negative perspective. So I know when I speak with people with chronic pain, they say, well, I don't want this pain. And so, yes, I understand that. And but it's been practiced so long, it's just naturally happening for them. But when you can recognize your human needs, and I have a test that you can go through and figure out which two are most important, then it gives you a bigger picture of what's going on. So, and then the last ego human need is love and connection. So with chronic pain, you're feeling sorry for yourself. Other people are feeling sorry for you. There's a lot of love and connection going on. People are doing things for you because you can't. So that's how chronic pain.
And that's very true. I know when I work with clients, I will ask, is there any secondary gain to the situation they have? And that kind of puts it right on the table. What are the benefits of the situation I'm in? And when people can really reflect on what am I getting from this, it usually has to do with that love and connection. Many people will say, well, my husband treats me better, or I get things done, or there is a secondary gain. That's that part of either love and connection or that need to be significant is that plays a role in this.
Right, exactly. And, because of their pain and their limitations, usually they're not able to contribute very much without talking about how significant and, getting that love and connection by having people feel sorry for them.
Right.
They're also, not growing very much because you can't grow. Well, some people can grow through pain as they're coming out of the pain.
Right.
But when you're truly emotionally connected, like women get emotionally connected to their pain. We feed it, we grow it, we feed it just as we would feed our children. And so, we have to be, as women, because we are the primary demographic. One of the things that says chronic pain is, a sex, and women are the primary people with chronic pain because we get so emotionally connected to it.
Right, exactly. And then it kind of takes over our world because that's where our focus is, and then it just continues that snowball that becomes our primary mode of operation. We alter everything to accommodate the pain. That becomes sort of that other partner, the dominant partner in your life. Right.
And you have to know that pain is a learned behavior. So as women, we're teaching our children how to be in pain or how not to be in pain. We generally have two different ways of teaching our children to be in pain. So when our girls fall, we're like, oh my God, oh, are you okay? We might give them food. Come inside, we'll give you a cookie, But when our boys fall, it's like, oh, okay, just shake it off. You're okay. You're okay. And so, we have to stop teaching our kids how to be in pain. We have to be more conscious on how we're teaching our kids to be in pain. But if a child sees a mother or a significant person in their life in chronic pain, they're learning how to be in chronic pain, and it can run generational.
Absolutely,
and I've seen it happen. So, we have to be mindful of what we're teaching our children about pain.
And if we're in a situation where we are in that loop of generational chronic pain, how do we get out of it? That's a challenge, because if we've seen it modeled through most of our life, it takes a lot of effort to counteract that. And this is where I believe that the spiritual needs that you were talking about is getting out of yourself and contributing and focusing on the spiritual aspect. I know in my life I've had, that chronic pain has been modeled for me for forever. And then I've had these other people in my life that I've watched and been in awe of how they have risen above. One woman in particular who has bone-on-bone pain, and she just smiles and keeps on trudging through and just keeps on moving through it. And I'll say, "Are you in pain?" She says, "Yes, but I don't let it bother me. I don't let it stop me. I'm going. She's just got this amazing determination. And I'm thinking, I want that. But I'm having to shift out of my programmed belief in order to get to that, because we're programmed at a very young age for what we believe in. And how do we shift out of this pain? And it, that ties in with a lot of what has been talked about in the book, the anger, the hate, this process that we've been trained and programmed by our ancestors, our family of origin, the people that raised us, programmed us from very young with how to behave. And how do we shift out of that? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is the place where, yes, spirituality comes in, but self-love comes in. And really coming to the understanding that we are, each individual is a gift to this world. And the only way to be able to shine powerfully is to love yourself enough to take care of yourself. Like I had a patient the other day, she could barely walk. She was in excruciating pain, but her job was demanding that she come back to work, where she would have to walk on concrete. She could barely lift her one leg. She was dragging her foot. She was in so much pain. And I said, you need to love yourself here. Because if you go to work right now, excuse me, for a 12-hour day, you may be in bed tomorrow, and you may have no choice not to go to work tomorrow. And this is time to love the self. We put out so much. We give, and at some point we have to stop and just say, I love myself more than I love, the money that might be coming in or the job or whatever. Because just like being a parent, on a plane, they tell you need to put the oxygen on first,
right,
so that you can be the sturdy individual that your child needs to help them survive.
Right.
And this woman was putting it all out for a company who really did not care what physical pain she was in. They just wanted her back because the owners of the company didn't want to have to go in and do her job. And she did take the day off, and she called me the next day and she said, "Thank you for telling me that, because I really needed to put myself first, because I never put myself first." And now taking that day of rest, I feel like there's hope, and I can move forward, because she had already been in pain for a couple of weeks with this going on.
And pain is there for a reason too.
Right.
Pain is, there's something. The pain is the way that the body's way of saying something's not right here. And then we take the drugs that mask the pain, that mask the problem, and then this is where we get addicted to the drugs, and we're still not getting to the root of the problem with the pain. And I know that, when I reached out to you, I'd been in extreme pain in my shoulder with a torn rotator cuff for I think by the time I saw you, I'd been in pain and doing different things for probably 3 months. Extreme pain, but I can soldier through this. I've got to do this. And it was only, I actually looked it up, it was October that I started seeing you for the laser, and we'll get into that in a minute. But between seeing you and Dr. Jim Peck, who does a different type of chiropractic, I started seeing him in September. And he started working on my body for foundation to shift the pain. And it was very interesting because he wasn't working on the shoulder. He was working on the way that I was sitting in my chair, the different things that I needed to do to take better care of myself to support my shoulder. And then I also did some spiritual metaphysical work with, and you brought this up too when I started seeing you, what is the right shoulder, the metaphysical combination or representation that's carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I needed to let go of that and allow other people to help me. But there was a lot of interesting layers and significance to the pain, and it's been fascinating how working with a couple of these holistic, you and a couple of other people, I was supposed to have surgery this month, and I am now no longer planning to have surgery. The pain is gone. I still have limitations in motion, but the healing has happened on many levels. I'm able to speak my truth more strongly than I've ever been able to do before, and you were part of that catalyst for helping me to shift the pain. And it's been a fascinating journey. And I just wanted to thank you for your part in this journey and how rapidly, once we start identifying the origin and all the layers of the pain, instead of just masking it, when we dig into it and delve into it and understand it, and we take care of self without the guilt, then we have the opportunity for change, right?
Correct. And certainly I'm honored, with all of my patients that they allow me to help them and do what I absolutely love to do and what I'm put here to do. So I thank you for trusting me. And one thing I do want to say is that there are situations where surgery is necessary. Mm-hmm. So I do have, I have seen situations where people have gone to different healers and have been talked out of surgery mm-hmm. and ended up in emergency surgery. So, just really know, and I try to, when I work with people, certainly from my nursing background, is to make sure that diagnostics have been done, that this couldn't be something life-threatening. I had a patient that had very large gallstones that her chiropractor was saying, no, I can heal you.
Yeah,
and but it was already up to the point that this individual had been into the emergency room a couple of times.
Right.
And if she, trusted the chiropractor to get rid of her gallstones,
yeah.
she could have ended up in emergency surgery because a duct was blocked by it. So,
absolutely.
We have to be careful as holistic practitioners and know, what is in our scope of practice.
Right.
And know that when somebody is at a certain point, there's no go. Surgery is the corrective measure.
Correct.
So there are things that there are a lot of things that the body can heal. I totally know that,
mm-hmm.
but there are points in time when surgery is the corrective measure, because as much as God and the universe has given us this amazing technology and this amazing skill to heal ourselves and others, he's also, or she has also given us, surgery and medication for those points of time that you just need that kind of reset.
Absolutely. And those times are usually as a result of us not taking care of ourselves or a result of a traumatic situation. And,
correct.
And I may need surgery down the road, and that's okay. But I needed to get the inflammation under control. And now I can start working on shifting what needs to happen for my shoulder. And if it ultimately means that I may need surgery, that's okay. But what I'm doing is I'm taking care of my needs. And in order to, instead of just jumping into surgery, looking at what does my body really need first, and then just logically playing this game out. And I know that
Right.
you also work with people post-surgical for a lot of healing, rapid healing recovery. And isn't that not part of what your program is?
Yes, yes. So when I had to, as a single mom running a business, and I had to have abdominal surgery that I was going to have to be out for 8 weeks, and I couldn't do that. And so I had all of this technology. I put it all in my bed before I went into surgery. So when I got home, I immediately started working on myself with cold laser. I had sound frequency and electrons. And within a week and a half, I went for my post-surgical consult, and my doctor was just blown away. I was in no pain. There was no inflammation. My surgical scars looked like they were months old, and I was back to work in 2 weeks. So with that, I started working on other patients of his, and he was just like, oh my God, and had the opportunity. The universe has just allowed me to be found by many different people. I've worked with pro athletes. I've worked with entertainers in the movie industry, the music industry, and have traveled all over the country working on patients. I just became a grandmother, so now I'm back in the Seacoast area and bringing this amazing technology and treatment, this world-class treatment, to regular people. And it's very exciting. And, you know, my purpose is to really help people not have to suffer unnecessarily.
Exactly. And I want to just interrupt you for just a second, Tina. I want to let the listeners know that you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman. And I have Tina Michaud-Gray on this morning, and we are talking about the shifting pain through the opportunity for self-love. And Tina is an amazing practitioner with, as a massage therapist, a nurse. And also, would you please, Tina, explain a little bit more about the cold laser therapy, the techniques that you use, and how does that work on the body?
So cold laser helps to create instant ATP, adenosine triphosphate, in the mitochondria of the cell, which is the energy we create when we work out. So it helps with tissue replication. It brings down inflammation and pain, and it's very quick. I have actually, when I work on incisions post-surgery, you can actually watch an incision start proximating or melting together right out front of your eyes in the first hour.
Wow.
I've actually seen the fibers just reaching across like little fingers and just intertwining with each other. It's pretty amazing. And so I worked with Dr. Jeff Spencer from the Tour de France with cold laser and with electron therapy. And on the tour, that's what allowed them to get back on the bike like tomorrow. So electron therapy really works with it's as simple as standing barefoot on the ground, and so it helps to bring down inflammation. It's antioxidants. It's the best antioxidants that you can get. So I always have my chronic pain patients, and if my acute pain patients can also do this, go barefoot on the ground, and you're going to bring in these electrons that are very healing.
And since it's getting cold outside, you also said that we can just touch our houseplants. We can connect with the plants, with nature, right?
Yeah, plants. So it's not the same transfer of energy, but our houseplants or any plant really can help us process pain and emotional pain. So just by, connecting I'll have my surgical patients have a plant on each side if they have plants in the house, and just be touching one plant on the left and drawing in that loving energy, and touching a plant on the right and sending whatever energy needs to be healed out to the right, and creating this circuit, because the plants are already connected to each other, and you can create this circuit of energy that really helps to clean and heal. And like you were saying, that you may need surgery, but it's so important to go through this process that you're going through, because there's a lot of emotions and old stuff that gets clogged up and causes these, is part of these injuries. And so for some people, if they don't get it cleaned up first, then, they may go into a chronic situation after surgery. So what you're doing is so important, to be able to really deal with all of the mechanisms that brought you to where you are today.
And they're deep, and they go back possibly generational. It's
exactly.
It is fascinating, and it's sometimes very ugly to have to go into some of this pain and process it and pull it out. And it's I often say, you got to squeeze the gook and get it out, because if it just sits in there and festers, that's where the inflammation comes from on a metaphysical perspective, on a metaphysical plane. Yes.
And then that just shows up in a physical plane,
yes.
And manifests in some kind of injury.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like we have the physical DNA structure of our parents, and we also have the emotional patterns of our parents. And so we will tend to believe that, well, if my mother had extreme back pain, then I guess I'm going to have extreme back pain. And then it may start showing up at almost the same period in time. Is that truly physical? Is it emotional? Is it expectation? It's part of all of it. And yet
right.
I feel we can rise above it by being aware of it and shifting our neuropathways to say, I may have a body that has a tendency to back issues. So what can I do to prevent this this expected outcome? Let me shift that neuropathway. I want to go down this path. I want to plan to go down this path, but I have to take charge of it through my thoughts, my behaviors, my actions.
Right. And I think that I have a number of tools that I offer clients to help them to shift what they're currently doing. There's a product called Bolt Tape that is amazing. You can use it as a support tape, but it also has a proprietary combination of herbs and minerals that help to take away the pain. So it doesn't correct anything, but it gives the individual an opportunity to like lower back pain, usually brushing teeth can be very painful. And instead of brushing teeth and being like, oh, pain, 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 which is making the neural pathways deeper, where they start a training program to say, I feel flexible, I feel strong, and they start creating new neural pathways. You
right.
can't say I'm not in pain, because that's just the brain is going back to pain. So it has to be I'm flexible, I'm strong, I feel good today, and that's what starts creating the new neural pathways and starts weakening the old pain memory.
Yes.
So there's a lot of little tools that really can make a big difference. And I tell everybody, people will say, I've tried everything and nothing works. First of all, the placebo, we all know that the placebo is that, you can take a sugar pill and it heals you, or it helps you. But the nocebo is so important, and nobody really talks about that. When you say, nothing and no one can help me, then nothing and no one can help you.
Mm-hmm.
The nocebo is so strong that when I have patients that say nothing and nobody can help me, And I say, you're right. And so when you can switch that thinking, then maybe I can help you or other people can help you.
Exactly.
But just because you think you've tried everything, you may have tried everything from a medical perspective, but you haven't tried what I'm doing.
There's that piece of it, and a lot of people will put it all in one big bucket. Like when I'm working with clients, they'll say, oh, I had a horrible week, nothing worked, and then I'll break it down. Well, this did work, and this worked, and this worked. It was just that I had this situation, and now they put it all in this great big bucket of nothing. And when people can help themselves to look at, well, actually, some of these things did work. Let's look at and celebrate those little things that did work and recognize the things that were problematic as things we can learn from, and how can we shift that pattern. Because when we use that word nothing, never, we those are stop words. We can't get past it. If we can cause people to re-look at and think about, oh, well, yeah, that actually did kind of work. So it's, again, I love the concept of the nocebo. That's a great way of thinking about it. The placebo is that sugar pill that makes us think we're better, and it in a way it helps, but the nocebo is definitely a stop. And so people are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM. We're here every Sunday morning, and then the show is also played at different times through the week. And we have it's available on our YouTube channel. So all of the prior shows are there, and this show will be up a little bit later today for everybody to listen to who weren't able to be on the show this morning. And today we're speaking with Tina Michaud-Gray. And Tina, what can you suggest to others to stay upbeat and inspired through this time of extreme stress? Because all this stress is causing fear, which is exacerbating that pain in people's body. Because the lower we go on that vibrational level, the more intense we feel the pain and the pain body. So what do you suggest to inspire people during this time?
Well, the one thing that really keeps me centered when so much negativity, I don't watch the news, and I try to keep up with what I know what's going on, but I don't constantly watch the news. But one, Matt Kahn had said during a talk that I was listening to that everything is happening perfectly, otherwise it would be happening differently. That, for me, is right where I go, and exactly what I tell myself when things get chaotic. Everything, I will just put my hand over my heart and be very centered and just say, everything is happening perfectly, my dear. Otherwise, it would be happening differently. So let's breathe and let's continue on with what is mine to do today.
And what makes me happy in this moment, to lift the energy? What is it? Who can I reach out to that is a trusted friend that can lift your spirits? What music can you listen to? What wonderful, funny show can you watch? What animal can you play with or pet? There are so many ways to shift out of that sense of sadness and despair that only sinks us into that low-level energy.
Yeah. I will video call my beautiful grandchildren, and they're so silly,
yes.
And they don't take anything seriously. And, we need to be more childlike, and stay centered and make sure that we have things that we can turn to, like a funny movie that we may have watched 100 times, but it still brings us to peace. So you have to have that toolbox to turn to say, okay, I need to come back up here. I'm below the line right now, and what is going to bring me up?
Exactly. It's a sense of, there again, it's self-awareness, which then leads to self-love. When we see and feel ourselves slipping into that abyss of sadness, despair, anger, which we all have, which we all experience, but when we recognize it, and then we say, okay, I need to shift out of this. What can I do to shift my energy? What do I need to stop, cancel, correct? What am I doing to myself? Because this is nobody else doing it to me. I must take ownership for my emotional feelings, and then I can shift them or stay stuck. I don't like it when I get that way, but you know what? We all go there. It's normal. And the key is to help, is to recognize it and then say, I need to shift. And before we go much further, I want to give people an opportunity to reach out to you. So, Tina, how do people find you?
So, my business is called the Rapid Recovery Center of New England. You can go to healingnh.com. That's the easiest one to get. New England Rapid Recovery is the other, NewEnglandRapidRecovery.com, but Healing NH is healingnh.com will take you right to my website. My office number is 603-781-8048. I'm also on Facebook under NewEnglandRapidRecovery.com, on Facebook and on LinkedIn and
you also have just started something as a veteran provider, right?
Oh,
so the veterans that have been through so much emotional and physical stress and strain and pain, there's a special program that you offer for them. Is that right?
Yes. So I'm so excited. It was a long process getting to this point, but I've always wanted to be able to make a difference for veterans. I have all of this amazing technology, and who is more deserving? There's nothing that, hits me closer to my heart than being able to help veterans. So I can do medical massage on veterans, and the VA pays 100%. So you do have to be in the VA system. It's 100%. And it's a really exciting opportunity, and I really hope that people come and start taking advantage of it. So if you know a veteran that is in the VA system and needs some pain help or needs help from PTSD, anxiety, I have everything that I have packed my office with everything that could possibly make the biggest difference for my patients and for these veterans.
Thank you for doing that. On the last few minutes we have I'd love for you to share your insight. I know that you are very involved in Unity on the River in Amesbury, Mass. So you're a very spiritual-based person. Do you have any thoughts to share on Chronicles of Hope? You have had an opportunity to read at least parts of it. What would you like to share? How did you find the messages in Chronicles of Hope?
Well, I relate it to Course in Miracles, and I think that there's a lot of information that's coming from the fifth dimension right now through many different people, and these are messages that need to be heard by everyone, and to help raise us up. I think we're in a time that expansion is required of all of us. So whatever system or book or individual that really resonates with you, jump in with both feet and really commit yourself to do this healing work and to rise up so that we can help to bring other people up. We should not be, self-love is really everything. And when we commit to rising up and being the better version of who we're supposed to be, and then we help other people rise up, that's what this world is all about. That's what we're here for. So
Absolutely. And Tina, thank you for that. We're coming to the end of our show. Thank you so much for what you are doing and for the wisdom. Thank you, listeners, for listening. And can you give us your favorite quote to end the show very quickly?
Yes. Life is not about how many breaths you take. It's about how many times life takes your breath away.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you again, listeners. We will see you next week. And meanwhile, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.